Radio check, loud and clear. You guys should be able to hear me. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Welcome along to the coverage here in Barcelona. We are 30 minutes away from the start of qualifying. We've got a lot of action up ahead of us and a very tight qualifying session as well. Alright, so thanks everyone for coming along. We've already got 1,200 people tuned into the stream, which is incredible considering I pressed go live about 30 seconds ago. So if you would like to hit the like button, that would very much be appreciated. Alright, so let's get into what to look forward to for Quali. We've got a lot of action up ahead. So the first thing is going to be, of course, who's going to get pole position? Is it going to be Oscar Piastri? Is it going to be Lando Norris? Is it going to be Max Verstappen? Or will it be someone totally different? You know, George Russell seemed to have some pretty good pace in free practice 2, and his pace was up there with Max Verstappen, in fact a little bit quicker in free practice 3. So maybe it will be George Russell, maybe it'll be Charles Leclerc. Who knows? The technical directive has come in. It has shaken things up a little bit, but still it looks like McLaren is the fastest team by a pretty significant margin. As we know, though, they've had a pretty significant lead over a lot of all of the teams for the majority of the season. However, they haven't been able to convert that into back-to-back-to-back wins. Max Verstappen has come in and ruined the fun 2 times, so maybe that will happen again. Maybe it won't. I guess we will just have to wait and see. All right. We need Sainz and Alonso in the top 5. Yeah, that's the other thing. It's a home race for Fernando Alonso. It's a home race for Carlos Sainz. And the Spanish fans are out in full force. They've got their umbrellas out. It is extremely sunny out in Barcelona. The asphalt is getting baked. And we are getting track temperatures up in the 45, 46, 47 degree range. Which means that the soft tyres wear out after just one qualifying lap. In fact, they start overheating during the qualifying lap itself. So the drivers do have to be careful about that. Make sure that as they drive out the pit lane, they're going to be crawling out the pit lane at a snail's pace to reduce those tyre temps, so they are good to go for a quali lap. Missed out on FP3. What did happen? To be honest, not really much. The FIA messed up the data. They somehow mixed the Formula 1 and Formula 2 data up together, and then we just had some normal quick runs, normal slow long runs, and that was about it, really. The quickest 2 drivers were, of course, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Piastri was about half a second clear of Lando Norris, partly due to the fact that Norris made a mistake on his first lap, which meant that he had to do his proper hot lap on a set of partially used tyres, but a half a second of a gap is not what you get from used tyres. Probably about 2.5 tenths that you lose from having used sets, so there's still some pace difference between the 2 McLarens. Alright, the yellow things on the track map, the yellow, it's yellow flags for some reason. The data is showing yellow flags at the end of FP2, but it's not really an issue. Once we get to qualifying, about 15 minutes time, we'll get the quali data coming through, and that'll reset itself. I have also added these little red lines in, just above Repsol and just before turn number 10. That is indicating where the sectors start and sectors end. So Sector 1 starts at the start-finish line, of course, and then it ends at just before the Repsol corner. Then you have the second sector going all the way up until turn 10, and then you've got the final sector after turn 10. Alright. My predictions for pole: Oscar for pole, P2 Norris, P3 Max Herman, P4 Leclerc, P5 Russell. What do you say about this? Well, you know, I think it's a pretty safe bet saying, you know, these 3, the top 3 are just pretty much the top 3 that we've had for quite a while, pretty much every single race this season. So I wouldn't say it's I think it's pretty safe. I don't know, might happen, might not. Lance Stroll P1, of course, yeah, I forgot. Lance Stroll should be P1. He's clearly the GOAT. He was, as you can see in free practice 2, was about half a second slower than his teammate Fernando Alonso. But, yeah, it doesn't really matter too much. It was free practice after all, and we'll get qualifying, and that'll be separate. And I think Stroll will get pretty close to Alonso. In past couple of races, he's been keeping up with him quite nicely, so I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue for him today. The Aston Martin is doing pretty well, so maybe double Q3 appearance for the Astons. It is possible. Race strategy 3 pit stops, right? Well, if the track temperature goes extremely high, then maybe 3 pit stops, but most likely it will be a 2-stop race. If there's a safety car at the correct time, maybe 3 stops, but it is a little unlikely to have 3 pit stops because we do have the hardest tyres from Pirelli, the C1, the C2, the C3, so the hardest of their range, which means that we will have, of course, less tyre wear than if we're using softer tyres, so we could probably get away with just 2 stops. The yellow flags is just for testing out the systems. At the end of free practice 2, the marshals were just testing everything that works. and yeah, they just left on some of the yellow flag systems when the data stopped recording. All right. What is the chance of Lance Stroll on pole? Well, don't ask me. Go ask a betting website. A betting website will probably give you like 1,000,000 to 1 odds for Lance Stroll on pole position. Yeah. All right. I will take you through an onboard of this circuit, and we'll have a look at what the circuit is like. Thank you everyone for tuning along as well. We've already got 2,000 people tuned in. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that as well. It really does help out the channel, and hopefully we can make our way towards 200k subscribers. That would be fantastic. All right, so let's go on with the onboard lap. So you come out of the final corner. You just want to get a really good exit really onto the final corner. Don't exceed track limits there. There is, of course, gravel on the left-hand side, so the drivers will be very careful and wary of that. But you open the DRS flap, blast your way down the straight, 320 k's by the time you reach the braking zone. Slam on the brakes at the 70-meter mark. Hit this first apex very nicely. Then you can go flat through 2 and 3 as long as you get the line right. And you do have to get the line absolutely perfect. If you make a tiny little mistake in turn number 1, then you can't go flat in 2 and 3, and that's your first sector over. Then of course you have turn number 4. Repsol, you're trying to make sure that you don't run out too wide like I've just done there. You can't see the exit of the corner, which means that you do have to be very, very careful. Then you now go towards turn number 5 and turn number 6, where you're just going to try and rotate the car as smoothly as possible, a little, like, as few jerky inputs on the steering wheel as you can, otherwise you will just snap the car and end up off in the escape road. Now, turn number 10, you've got this long sort of sweeping section. It used to be a hairpin, but that got changed a couple of years ago, and now we've got this long sweeping section. Same thing for turn number 12 and 13. 12, the drivers try to go as wide as possible because 13's flat, so there's no sort of limiting factor. You should go as far as wide as you can at turn number 12. Turn number 14 is a limiting factor. You could potentially go flat. If you get the line absolutely perfect, you could go flat. Last year we saw Max Verstappen, George Russell and Lance Stroll go flat through that corner, and apart from that nobody else went flat during qualifying. So maybe we'll see a couple more drivers going flat this weekend because, well, they have newer cars which are with a little bit more downforce, which should help them out in theory. Okay. Have you watched the 2013 Spain Grand Prix? It's the last race where Alonso won a race, but that race was hot. Mercedes pitted and pot on softs only lasted 2 or 3 laps. No, I have not watched the 2013 race, to be fair. I started watching Formula 1 in 2018, so, that was about 5 years before I started watching. Okay. So we have got 22 minutes to go for quali. We'll run through all of the drivers, what their current form is, what they were saying after the practice sessions. Of course, all of the teams did go and modify their setups from Friday to Saturday to fix any sort of issues. But the main sort of changes in the technical directives was that on the front wing, what's going to happen is the FIA used to test on a lot lower load and allowed a lot more deflection. Currently, what they're going to do is test with 100 kilograms of force on either side of the front wing, and the front wing should not move more than 1.5 centimeters. So it's going to be 200 kilograms worth of force on the front wing, and it's not allowed to move more than 1.5 centimeters. So the flexibility is pretty much gone, and the drivers will, and the front wings are going to be a lot stiffer than they previously were. Which Spaniard is more likely for a podium? Well, considering the form this season, Fernando Alonso scored no points. However, in the past couple of races, he's been right up there in the pecking order, and of course has had some issues like in Monaco. And then Sainz has been doing really good. Williams has been doing really good. However, Williams have a really bad track record at this circuit. I think in the last 3 years, they have not made it through even into Q2. And in the last 10 years, they've never made it through into Q3, Williams have. So maybe that can turn around this weekend. Maybe they'll have another bad weekend. We'll have to just wait and see. But if you ask me which Spaniard has a higher chance of a podium, I'm going to go with Fernando Alonso. Just because he's been performing quite well this weekend, and Sainz not so much. Okay. What else have we got to do then? Yeah, so I'll run through from bottom to top then. We have got Franco Colapinto down in 20th position. He had some issues in FP1, but those issues have been resolved and he's got a little bit more time out in the car now, so he should be feeling a little bit more confident. And now his job is to really just to get as close as possible to Pierre Gasly, because that's his job as the rookie. He came in, replaced Jack Doohan, and then has got his work cut out for him, really. He's got to adapt to this car super duper quickly, and he's only got a contract for 5 races or 6 races or something. Where to watch Formula 1 for free? It's alright, well, I'd appreciate if you didn't spam. I will answer your questions. But to watch Formula 1 for free, you get Surfshark VPN. Well, you have to pay for Surfshark VPN, but you don't have to pay to watch the actual Formula 1. You get Surfshark VPN, you join an Austrian VPN server, you search ORF on Google, and you log in, you make an account, you log in, and you can watch Formula 1 with German commentary. So, yeah, if you guys are interested, go ahead and check that out. There's a link in the description. Alright, yeah, so let's continue on then. We have, Colapinto. Well, we don't know what's going to happen after his sort of 5-race contract. Is he going to get replaced with Doohan? Is there going to be another driver that comes in? Or, what's going to happen there? So, I guess we'll just see what happens with Colapinto. Then the next driver, Oliver Behrman. He's had a pretty good start to his season, to be fair. It hasn't been the most, he's not been standing out, outperforming Ocon by huge margins here and there. But it's been a good start to the season, and he hasn't done huge mistakes from Behrman, to be honest. He did have that thing in Australia where he had a pretty big crash and then wasn't so confident for the rest of the weekend, but that was his first race of the season, also in wet conditions in Australia, so very, very tough conditions to start out your Formula 1 career Formula 1 career at. But he's bounced back and he's doing all right. And Ocon as well, the Haas hasn't just been doing that great, really, so Ocon probably is driving all right at his normal level, but just really is nowhere because the Haas is nowhere. Okay. Also, the little red lines that I've added into the screen. The red line is the start and the end of sectors. So sector 1 ends at the red line, and sector 2 starts at the second red line, the same red line, and then sector 2 ends at the second red line, and sector 3 starts there. It's just the sector lines on the circuit. Do you think Mercedes will bounce back from Monaco? George almost lost it. Yeah, I think they will. Their pace looks pretty good. They brought upgrades this weekend, and Russell's pace looks on par with Charles Leclerc, so he should be fine to make it through into Q3. I think it was pretty extraordinary circumstances, really, for the Mercedes crew to not make it through into Q3 in Monaco. Very, very unfortunate, of course, but they got stuck behind and ended up with Kimi Anthony getting lapped 3 times, so not ideal for Mercedes. Okay. Alright, what else have we got going on then? Let me just have a quick sip of water. Hello, Seven Flowers, nice to see you back. Okay. Williams won on this track in 2012. Oh, yeah. Yeah, pretty good going, really. It's been a long time since 2012, to be honest. 13 years now. So, but yeah, in the last 10, or ever since this qualifying Q1, Q2, Q3 system has been introduced, they haven't made it through into Q3. So, not ideal. I remember the last time they had a good weekend, it was Pastor Maldonado, the crash goat, won the Spanish Grand Prix, inspiration for Latifi, Sargent Stroll. Yeah, Pastor Maldonado, of course, did have his win here in Spain. Okay, I'll just run through sort of the new changes that we've got up on the screen here. So the green line is the two green lines. They are the DRS zones. So where the drivers will have DRS going down the straights and such. So this is a DRS zone here. This red line here and here, that is the start and end of Sector 1. So this is the end of Sector 1 and start of Sector 2. And this is the end of Sector 2 and start of Sector 3. The green dot is the DRS detection point. So you go through when you're passing through this point, if you're within 1 second of a driver, then you'll get DRS on the next straight. Same thing for this bit. And then the purple dot here, that is the speed trap as you're going down the straight. There'll just be a speed camera to measure how quickly you're going, and that's the top speeds that you can see at the bottom middle of the screen. Okay, who do you think will qualify for pole position? I mean, the safest bet is, of course, Oscar Piastri, who's been showing some serious pace, and it has been going quicker than his teammate as well. So, maybe it is Piastri, maybe it's Verstappen. I think it was 35% of you think Piastri, 30% think Verstappen, and then the rest is evenly split between Lando Norris and some other driver. I guess we'll see. Yeah, a lot of people have confidence in Piastri. He's been pretty consistent as of late, and he's ended up on the podium every single race, apart from the first race out in Australia where he had his crash. So, I think that, I think he should be fine. They will change the track from Barcelona to Madrid. Any idea if it's better? No, I think it's for certain Barcelona is a better circuit than Madrid. But I guess we'll see what the race is like in Madrid. I guess don't knock it till you try it, but I think just looking at the circuit, they've got 3 roundabouts on the track, which is a very interesting choice, to be honest. Yeah, roundabouts on a Formula One circuit. I mean, what's the next thing they're going to add? Stop signs and traffic lights. Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting one to say the least. We'll see what it's like next year. Okay, and 13 minutes now. We'll carry on running through the drivers. Gabriel Bortoleto. In fact, we've got the qualifying data. Qualifying data is just coming through now. As you can see, all of the yellow sectors have gone, and we'll get the quali data coming in shortly. Okay, so Gabriel Bortoleto, he's made some pretty solid gains here and there. He's been able to keep up with Nico Hülkenberg for the majority of the time. Of course, wasn't able to do it in Monaco, purely just due to the fact that, of course, he doesn't have anywhere near as much experience around Monaco that Nico Hülkenberg. So fair enough, he lost out there. But Bortoleto been performing fantastically. Of course, he's part of sort of Fernando Alonso's driver academy, and Alonso's been coaching him, helping him out with telemetry. Like we've seen images where Bortoleto has printed off some telemetry data, and then him and Alonso are analysing it, and they're talking about, this is how you need to steer through this corner, you need to touch this curb and things like that. Get onto the power earlier. So great stuff there from Bortoleto. Lance Stroll, he's really just got to make some progress, getting closer to Alonso. I think he's been doing quite good in the past couple of races. Of course, when it comes to a proper driver's circuit, Alonso always shines a little bit brighter than Stroll does, and we saw Stroll lose out to Alonso in the Monaco quali, but maybe things will turn around here in Spain. Williams as well, 14th and 15th place for them. They've got a lot of ground to make up. They weren't looking too great in practice, to be honest, and hopefully they can bounce back from a bit of a bad practice session. Okay. So I think we've got the data come through. Yes, we do. All right, let me There we go. We've got the qualifying data. As standard, we'll have the normal 18-minute session for Q1, 15 minutes for Q2, and then 12 minutes for Q3. Also, folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that as well. We are, we're 15, 16 subscribers away from 166k, so if you guys would like to subscribe, that'd be fantastic. The theoretical best lap time around the Madrid circuit is a 1:32. Okay. I mean, I don't think the lap time really has much of an effect on anything. It's more so the circuit. All right. The pole time from last year was a 1 minute 11.383. So I guess we shall see what happens there, and if we beat that lap time, or if we are actually slower than it, because of course the new technical directive will have slowed down the cars a little bit. So much so that maybe a year's worth of development is outweighed. I'm not really sure, but maybe we'll have the cars go quicker, maybe we won't. And also track temperature plays a pretty significant factor as well. We're 48 degrees track temperature right now. Wind is also 10 kilometers per hour, which might throw off the drivers because we haven't had too much wind in the practice session. So, the drivers will have to be wary and careful of that one. And yeah, nothing much else, to be honest. The red dash is the start and the end of the sector. So end of sector 1 is at the red dash, and start of sector 2 is also the same red dash, and then sector 3 starts at the red dash. That's basically just where the sectors start and finish. It is a clockwise circuit, so the front left tires is the big pain point for the drivers. In fact, so I'll just show you another onboard lap really. Here we go. Okay, so you come out of the final corner, of course, which is a left-hander, so your front left tire is feeling some pain there. Then you make your way down the start-finish straight, and of course, you're just blasting along at 320 k's, hitting the brakes at the 70-meter mark, 4th gear for the first corner, once again, a left-hander, heating up those front left tires. Then this is the biggest one really. You're at 250 kilometers per hour and you're turning a full 180 degrees there. Your front left tire is feeling pain, even more pain for turn number 4, and yeah, you start losing grip, you start running wide here and there. Then turn number 5 is thankfully a sort of a left-hander. You're not putting too much load on the left side of your car. And then again, for Worth, it's a left-hand corner, so it's not too much of an issue there. Again, cams to here, left hand, you've got loads of load on the left side of the car, so really is the biggest pain point. We saw George Russell complaining, I think he only did like 8 laps or something, and then he was already complaining about the tyre wear on the front left. And then same again, turn number 12, turn number 13, and turn number 14. All of them are wearing out the front left tyre, so I can assure you in tomorrow's race, the first tyre the drivers complain about will be the front left, and they'll be complaining a lot. We'll probably see 2 stops because of it, because of the high tyre wear that we'll see at the circuit. And yeah, that's a lap of the Barcelona Grand Prix. Hey everyone, hi Fun Gamer. How's everything going? Yeah, so it's going pretty well actually. Yeah, we should be in for a pretty exciting qualifying session. Session should be fairly close. The McLarens do seem to have a big advantage, but their final runs in FP3 were also looking suspiciously low on fuel. So maybe they're just making some statements. Oh yeah, the technical directive hasn't slowed us down. But there's no point making a statement in FP3. Quali is what everyone's looking at anyway. All right. What else have we got going? What graphics card are you using on your game? I'm using an Xbox. So yeah, no graphics card. Well, I don't know. Xbox probably has a graphics card. I just don't know what it is. Yeah, folks, if you're enjoying the coverage, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. And I'll commentate for the race tomorrow. I'll be commentating for the Canadian Grand Prix in 2 weekends. 2 weekends time. I'll be commentating all of the Formula 1 races right till the end of the season, and probably next season and the season after that as well. So if you guys do enjoy the coverage, then be sure to hit the like button. It really does help out the channel. Okay, do you prefer Barcelona or Madrid? Definitely Barcelona, really. I prefer purpose-built circuits over street circuits. Like, street circuits are good on occasion, but on the majority of the time, it's much better to have a purpose-built circuit, which is wide enough to accommodate all of these cars and to have sufficient runoff area and things like that. And yeah, I think purpose-built circuits, they were built for racing, so you can design the circuit to have good racing, whereas a street circuit, you're sort of fitting a track within the confines of a city that's already been built. So it's not really, the transportation aspect comes first, and then the good racing circuit aspect comes second. Muvana, thanks for joining the channel member, very much is appreciated. Jerez is better than both Barcelona and Madrid. Actually, I haven't seen a race I've never seen a race at Jerez, but I think, Valencia maybe. yeah, they got quite a few different options to be racing at. So I guess we'll see. Maybe they should alternate. All right. While they're using Hypersofts, it's just a placeholder because nobody's come out on their tires yet. It just shows everyone's out on Hypersofts or Ultrasofts, but yeah, once they come out, it'll actually show soft, medium, and hard. And if I'm gamer, how to watch with Surfshark VPN. Right, so you get Surfshark VPN, you download it onto your computer, download it onto your phone, then you join an Austrian VPN server. And then because you're in Austria and your VPN is in Austria, you can go onto Google, search ORF, O for Oscar, R for Race, F for Ferrari. You can Google that, make an account, log in, and then you can watch Formula One for free. So the only thing you have to pay for is Surfshark VPN. The ORF website is free as long as you're in Austria. So if you guys are interested in watching Formula One for only $2 a month, then you can do that. The commentary is in German, but of course, if you understand German, then that's fantastic for you. If not, you can always mute the commentary and listen to mine instead, but still actually be able to watch the cars go around the circuit. Okay, let me get rid of this. There we go. All right. So here we are then. Oh, yeah, let me change the like counter, like target as well. The like goal normally for quali sessions, I think, is 4,500. So let's see if we can hit that. Fantastic. Okay, 4 minutes away now from the start of quali. Ladies and gents, who do you think is going to get eliminated from Q1? And also, do you think we're going to get, yellow flags, red flags? Because we haven't had that many incidents here in the practice sessions. Of course, the drivers are very sort of, the drivers are very used to driving around the circuit. They've got lots of practice and experience, so that's why we see a lot fewer mistakes. The only spin that we saw, or any real incident, was just Oliver Behrman having a spin on the exit of turn number 3. The rear of the car went a little light, and then he lost grip and did a 360, but managed to keep it out the barrier. So, do you think we're going to see some yellow flags? I think we might actually. I think there's a pretty good chance that we could actually see some yellow flags. And some driver at least spinning off into the gravel. I don't know about crashing because there is a sufficient runoff area and sufficient gravel traps that I don't think we will see a driver crash, but I do think we will see a driver make a mistake, get a twitch of the car and then have to go off into the gravel trap to keep everything under control. Actual F1 fan, thanks for joining the channel member. That's very much is appreciated. All right. The red thing is where the sectors start and finish. That's what the red things are. Just more and more information sort of going onto the track map as the weekends go by. But I think everyone's sort of getting used to what they are and what they aren't. So I don't have to mention it too many times. How different are the Mercedes and Williams cars, since Williams is kind of a sister team, since Sainz seems to better adapted to Ferrari to Williams than Hamilton from Merc to Ferrari? They are pretty similar. I mean, okay, they're not. The power unit is of course the same, which comes with some drivability concerns. Like some drivers will just be used to the way that a power unit will output power. They can expect, like they have this sort of intrinsic feeling. They know that if I press down the throttle this much, the power unit will do this. And that takes a little bit of getting used to. But I don't think it is that... I don't think it's sort of that big of a difference. And it should, Hamilton should have adapted by now. He will have adapted as much as he possibly can up until this point. And maybe there's no more adapting left to do. But Carlos Sainz has adapted nice and quickly, and he's right up to speed, sometimes even beating Alex Albon. So I wouldn't say there's much question left there. If Sainz has adapted and Lewis hasn't, I don't know what... Yeah, you can interpret that however you'd like. Okay, we are 1 minute away from the start of quali. We'll have the drivers lining up at the end of the pit lane very, very soon, all waiting to cool down their tyres. If we look at the constructors' standings here, we have got Mercedes on 147 points, Red Bull Racing on 143, and Ferrari on 142. 5 points between the second, third, and fourth teams in the constructors. And the fight for second place is really hotting up. McLaren have got double the points of any other team, which they've run away with this. They've basically won the Constructors' Championship already. However, the other teams, though, they do have everything to play for. So Mercedes have brought some upgrades. Maybe that'll help them out this weekend. Ferrari think they'll get faster after the new technical directive change, so maybe Ferrari will do well. And then Red Bull, of course, have always got Max Verstappen. So I guess we'll see. What happens. But as you can see, the driver's already lined up at the end of the pit lane, and we are getting ready to go qualifying. 8 seconds left on the clock. In fact, let me just get rid of this timer here. Not long till we have the drivers exiting the pits. Fantastic. Okay. Who do you think will get eliminated out of Q1? Well, I'm going to go with the Haas's, the one Sauber, and the Alpines, really. I don't know. Or one Alpine, at least. Okay, we got Colapinto and Ocon out, and I think Behrman and Stroll are also making their way out pretty soon. Fantastic. Thomas Jogan, thanks for the donation. Super Max will win tomorrow. Maybe you will. Of course, he got his first win here in Formula One back in 2016 after the two Mercedes drivers crashed into each other, took them out. Maybe they will. Maybe something like that will happen again. Maybe Piastri and Norris will take each other out, and we'll get Max Verstappen taking the win, exactly like 9 years ago. Service TV not broadcasting quality. It's not Service TV this weekend. It's ORF. O for Oscar, R for Race, F for Ferrari. If you Google that, then it'll be. Then you can watch the coverage. It alternates. One race will be ORF. The next race will be Service TV. Okay. So yeah, we got Colapinto, Ocon, Behrman, Stroll, Albon out onto the circuit now, and we'll be getting ready to go for the first laps then. Alright, so everyone out on soft tyres, as is expected really, because the medium tyres aren't in any sort of condition to really be qualifying in, so fair enough, and we'll go on board with Colapinto and see what you can do. Oh, we got 2 donations back to back. Wow. Okay. Actual F1 fan, thank you for the €5 donation. Who will take poll? I'm gonna go with someone boring. Really, I don't want to say Piastri or Verstappen, but that's the most boring choice. So, if you want an actual answer, probably one of those two. If you had to ask me, then I'd say Piastri. Why not? Mal, thanks for the $5 donation. Ferrari got a double disqualification, remember, and still in the mix for second in the constructors. Yeah, Ferrari did get a double disqualification in China. So Ferrari do have the pace, of course. The question remains is if, are the other teams going to catch up to them? Red Bull will always have Max Verstappen lapping away as quickly as possible and scoring as many points as he physically can. Then the Mercs have brought some upgrades. George Russell performing at the top of his game. Antonelli still got some improvement left to do. Ferrari have the best driver lineup on the entire grid. Leclerc and Hamilton, in theory, is the best. Will they be able to extract much performance out of the car, out of the drivers? We shall just have to wait and see. 15 minutes left on the clock now. Franco Colapinto, first driver to come across the line, a 1:13.897, and last year's pole time, a 1:11.383. So 2 seconds off the pace there. We got Ocon across the line, a 1:14.04 Esteban Ocon. Then we get Behrman across the line, and it's a 1:14.3 from him. And Lance Stroll comes across the line. First position for Lance Stroll. He goes 2/10 clear of Franco Colapinto. And now we got Alex Albon. Purple in the first sector. Looking good in the middle sector as well. He gets very close to exceeding track limits as well, does Alex Albon. Thanks, actual F1 fan, for the second donation. Who's your favourite team and who's your favourite driver? Well, my favourite driver is Seb Vettel. And my favourite team is whichever team Seb Vettel is driving for. But if you asked to ask me, if you had to ask me a favourite driver on the grid currently, it would probably be between like Tsunoda, Alonso, and Piastri. Maybe I'm not really sure. I'm a Seb Vettel fan at heart, and I really don't. Well, I do care, obviously. I just want some good racing, but If Seb Vettel's not on the grid, I'm not particularly biased to anyone. Yeah, Stroll in P1. I mean, clearly the GOAT. Exactly. We should stop qualifying right now. Lance Stroll makes it through into pole position. Game over. All right. Finally, okay. Sonoda comes out onto the circuit, and now we got Hulkenberg out onto the track as well. And now we're getting the other drivers out onto the circuit. Okie dokes. So Sonoda out, then we got Lawson, then we got the Mercs, the McLarens, everyone coming out now. Bortoletto. Ash F1 fan, thank you for the 3rd donation. Oh my goodness me, mate. Yeah, very much is appreciated. Thanks for helping out the channel. Yeah, you guys have helped out a lot. You know, I've got a professional microphone for all of the commentary. I've got a new laptop so I can stream without lagging, hopefully. And yeah, very much is appreciated, folks. And of course, I'm doing my best to, you know, block adverts so you guys also don't have to watch any adverts while the stream is actually going on. So very much is all appreciated. All right, we got 15,000 people tuning into the live stream. That is incredible. So thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. And I will be commentating for tomorrow's race as well, so be sure to tune into that one. But now, all eyes are out on the circuit, and we have got Hulkenberg, Bortoletto, Sonoda, Lawson, Sainz, Antonelli, Norris, Russell, all coming out onto circuit. Fine, okay. Hadjar out onto the track as well. As you can see, there's quite a big queue forming up really at the end of the pit lane, and the drivers are making their way out single file, leaving sufficient space, because this is sort of a downforce sensitive circuit. You do want as much downforce as physically possible, so the drivers do leave a fairly big gap between themselves to make sure that there's no dirty air. However, they do sometimes want a tow, so we'll keep an eye out if you know, if people are giving each other tows and things like that. Because orchestrating a tow can gain you about 2/10 down the straight, which is huge, really. 2/10, 1.5 down the straight, incredible pace difference with an extra little slipstream. So we'll keep an eye out for if anyone is getting a tow. But Yuki Tsunoda starts his flying lap. We've got Bortoletto and Hulkenberg also starting their laps as well. Okay, Hamilton also out onto the circuit as well. So the only 2 drivers we're waiting for now, Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. Otherwise, they've either done a lap or are already out on the circuit. There we go, Leclerc out as well. So just Verstappen that we are waiting for. Where can I watch live? Folks, if you are interested in watching Formula 1 live, all you've got to do is use the link in the description, get Surfshark VPN, download it onto your computer, join an Austrian VPN server, search ORF onto Google, and you can watch Formula 1 for $2 a month. So yeah, go ahead and check that out. There's a link in the description to Surfshark VPN. It helps the channel out as well, and it does work. We've got about 300 people using this method to watch it, and you know, for whatever reason, if it doesn't work, you can always get a refund. All right, so thanks, Actual F1 fan, again for the next donation. Stroll and Latifi GOAT. Clearly, the Canadian domination reigns supreme in Formula 1, producing fantastic drivers generation after generation. We had Gilles Villeneuve, of course, which I think he's Canadian. I think the only reason I think he's Canadian is because the circuit is named after him. I don't actually know if he's Canadian or not, but I think he is. And then, of course, Lance Stroll and Nicholas Latifi. Okay, Lawson across the line, first place for him. He goes 17 milliseconds ahead of Mr. Nico Hulkenberg, and the Williams not performing too well actually. There, I would have expected Sainz and Albon to be quite a ways ahead of Lawson and Sauber, but apparently not. Antalya across the line, he goes a 10th clear of Liam Lawson. First position for him, a 113.338. Lando Norris is having absolutely none of it. Half a second clear for Lando Norris, purple in the first and second sectors, and only 4th fastest, in fact, in the final sector, and that's purely because he didn't get a tow, I think. Yeah. Russell comes across the line. Actually, Russell had a really good final sector. I think maybe Norris just backed off or didn't go flat through the final corner. That might be it. But Russell, a really good final sector, and he's only 7 milliseconds back from Lando Norris. So a real good job there. But Piastri now, he's the driver that we're watching for. He was looking a lot quicker in FP3 than Lando Norris was. He goes purple in the middle sector, and he is in fact a tenth quicker than Norris in the middle sector. Let's see what he does in the final sector. Does he go foot flat to the floor, out of the final corner, across the line he comes? What is Oscar Piastri doing? He is a quarter of a second clear of his teammate. Nicely done there from Oscar. First lap of Q1, he's got the upper hand. Alright, Shelbatron, watching / listening at work makes my morning a little bit more fun. Well, thanks for the donation, and hope you're enjoying the coverage. I will make sure to read out all of the positions at the end of Q1, Q2, to mention which drivers have been eliminated, just for the people that are listening to this like a radio broadcast rather than just watching the stream itself. Yeah. All right, Alonso across the line, 5th place for him. Oh, great lap from Albon, actually. Albon, I think, improved, and up into 4th position for Alex Albon. So the Williams are looking good, apparently. Yeah, probably shouldn't judge that quickly. And we've got Hamilton now across the line, 6th place for him. Charles Leclerc across the line, it's 4th place for him. He goes 2 tenths quicker than his teammate. All right. So here we go then. That is pretty much the first run. The only driver that we've got left to do their final run of Q3 is Mr. Max Verstappen, or Franz Hermann, shall we say. And he's looking good in the first sector, 21.6. That's 2 tenths slower than the McLarens in the first sector. Here he comes now towards turn number 10. And have a look at his middle sector time, 29.1. That is about on par with the McLarens in the middle sector. Now let's see what he can do in the final sector. There is a conversation to be had where do the drivers push maximum, like go as all out as they can in the first sector and then risk overheating the tyres for the final sector. Verstappen comes across the line ahead of Norris, but behind Piastri, in fact 1 millisecond ahead of Lando Norris. I mean, wow, that's so close. Actually, F1 fan, your commentary is the best, even though I have Sky Sports. I mean, that's a huge compliment. The fact that you've got Sky Sports and you've muted them and you're listening to me instead, thank you so much. And I really do appreciate all of these donations coming in. All right, but yeah, this is what I'm saying. Competition is going to be ridiculously close, with a 1 millisecond gap between Verstappen and Norris. So let's wait and see. At the end of FP3, the McLarens were 7 tenths, 8 tenths clear of everyone else, and we were like, oh, that's it, championship over. The technical directive didn't help, but clearly it has. Max is able to keep up with Norris, maybe not Piastri, but he's definitely in there in the mix. Okay, I think Sainz now will do his second lap, and then I expect him to get close to Albon. He's been doing quite well compared to Albon, really, and has been getting close every single time. So it should not be too much of a concern for him. He'll get close to Albon on his next lap. Tsunoda, however, has got his work cut out for him. He's a full second back from Verstappen. We saw him complaining in free practice, just saying that he has absolutely no grip. Front axle, rear axle, nowhere. Nothing is gripping up for him, and he needs to... Yeah, well, he needs to get a grip and increase his decrease his lap time, not increase his lap time, but yeah. Okay. 20,000 people watching. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We might actually be on track to hit a record number of people watching the qualifying stream. So, yeah. Be sure to stick along, folks. We'll be not long now till we get our second or third runs of Q3. Everyone's making their way back into the pits. Everyone's refueling, putting on a fresh set of tyres, and we'll be good to go for the final runs of Q1. Okay. So 4 minutes and 50 seconds left. Actual F1 fan, another donation. Oh my goodness me, right. Thank you again. I didn't really know what to say. I mean, you've donated about 6 times now. Thanks again. I'm supporting the channel as much as I can. I mean, very much is appreciated, buddy. Yeah. Thank you. Running out of things to say, to be honest. Running out of different ways to say thank you. I should probably get a dictionary out. That might help. Okay, we got Norris out onto the circuit. He's going to be first to go out. He's out on a used set of tyres. Same thing for Oscar Piastri. They're expected to make it through into Q3, so they're not really too concerned about doing their second runs on a set of softs that have already been used up. Hulkenberg and Bortoletto, however, they know that if they come out and do a lap on a used set of softs, they're not making it through. So they're out on a fresh set of soft tyres, looking to extract as much pace as they possibly can from these soft tyres. Okay, yeah, we are going to have a lot of pit lane traffic jams, so who knows what we'll see. It was 7, now it's 8. Oh my god, okay. Well, thank you, thank you. Right, let me do an onboard lap of the circuit then. So, oh no, that's the wrong button. Here we go then. So coming out the final corner, these are the things to sort of watch out for really. If you're driving, if you find yourself at the Barcelona circuit, then this is the things to watch out for. Thanks Frank for the donation as well. Alright, so braking at the 70-meter mark here, you brake at the little concrete strip on the left-hand side. The drivers all use that as their reference point. Then you make your way through turn number 3, hug the inside line to minimize the distance that you travel. You won't really do this in the race, but in qualifying you want to minimize the distance and you don't really care about tyre wear. So hug the inside line. Same thing here for turn number 4, Repsol corner. You don't want to run out onto the grass. It's a little bit difficult because you can't see the exit, but you've kind of just got to go off memory. And these Formula 1 drivers can drive around blindfolded like there is absolutely no issue for them. Then you go through to Worth corner where you try to minimize the amount of steering angle that you've got. The car, there are a few bumps there. You go over a crest. Same thing for here through Kamsa. The rear of the car slides out a little bit. We saw Lando Norris have a twitch going through Kamsa in free practice 3. Ended up having to bail out of his lap and go off into the escape road. Through turn number 10 you go. It's a nice swooping corner, and same thing for turn number 12. And the driver's just trying to carry as much speed as they possibly can. Turn number 13 is flat. 14 is borderline flat, but I suspect we're only going to be seeing that at the end of Q3. You come out of the final corner, and across the line you go, and that is a lap of Barcelona, ladies and gents. Okay, so now we've got the flying laps coming through then. Lando Norris to start his flying lap. Looking good, looking good. You plan to post a post-quali discussion today? When I meant sort of a post-quali discussion, meant just sort of at the end of the live stream rather than like a separate video or anything like that. Oh, Antonelli purple is in purple in the middle sector, looking really good for Kimi Antonelli. Here he comes out of the final corner. What's it going to be? He's on a fresh set of tyres here. He does need it. He needs to make it through. And yeah, his lap time is pretty much on par with George Russell's lap time. Great job there from Kimi. Actually, F1 fan, thank you again for the next donation. Very much is appreciated. Okay, so yeah, he's used a fresh set of tyres just to make sure that he can make it through, and we'll have now the final quali laps coming through. We've got 50 seconds left on the clock here. Pierre Gasly improves up into 9th position. Will that be enough though? Well, there's a lot of drivers behind him yet to complete their quali laps. Lewis Hamilton is one of them. Here comes Fernando Alonso, currently in 10th place. He's going to start his flying lap. Let's see how he progresses. Oliver Behrman across the line now, also to start a flying lap. Everyone now coming across the line, making sure that they come across before the timer hits 0. Carlos Sainz improves only 13th place. It's his home Grand Prix. He's only a 10th back from his teammate, but look how close the pack is from Charles Leclerc in 6th position all the way down to 16th position. There's only a gap of 0.3 of a second. 0.3 is the gap between 6th and 16th. It is extremely close, and that 1/10 that Carlos Sainz is back from his teammate is going to prove very, very costly. Hamilton improves up into 9th, 14th place for Carlos Sainz. He is at risk of being eliminated here. Lawson improves up into 7th. Carlos is into 15th place, and there are still a couple more drivers left to go. All right, here comes Fernando Alonso. He's improving once again. We got Albon coming into the pits. Ocon, I think, is on a flying lap as well. Yeah, Ocon's improving. We got one of the drivers. One of the drivers parked up on the side. Colapinto has issues. He's parked up on the side of the road, and yeah, he's not taking part in the rest of the session, so he's eliminated out of Q1. Ocon improves up into 16th. That's Sainz eliminated. We got Behrman up into 11th. He pushes his teammate into the elimination zone. Great lap there from Ollie Behrman. Ocon, unfortunately, eliminated. And Tsunoda, currently in 20th place. He's got to make it out. Surely he's got to make it out. He's in the Red Bull. Max Verstappen's up in 2nd place. Here comes Yuki Tsunoda across the line. 19th position. Oh, no, no, no. Stroll improves up into 7th place. Carlos Sainz is out. So is Yuki Tsunoda. So is Esteban Ocon. So's Nico Hulkenberg and Isaac Hadjar. Oh my god, what a surprise here. Isaac Hadjar's not eliminated. Correction. Colapinto's eliminated. Isaac Hadjar is not. But Colapinto had engine issues. He just ended the qualifying session, didn't even manage to do another lap. Then we had Alonso. No, that's fine for him. But yeah, Isaac Hadjar just makes it through by the skin of his teeth. Then we've got Hulkenberg out, Sainz out, Ocon out, Colapinto and Tsunoda. Oh no. I mean, the gap between Tsunoda and Verstappen is 0.6 of a second, which is what it's been all season long. But look how close the field is from top to bottom in 0.8 of a second, which we have never seen this before. This is so close. And this is also why we see Sainz eliminated. If he was just 1/10 quicker, he would have made it out. But alas, he wasn't. And he's eliminated. Very, very unfortunate. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't think anyone was really expecting that one. Ali PNG John, thanks for joining the channel member. Very much is appreciated, buddy. Yeah, all of the drivers within 0.8 of a second. That is ridiculously close. Of course, partly that is due to the fact because Piastri and Norris came out on used sets of tyres, so they had no reason to really push that hard. But regardless, very, very close competition. All right, technical directive working wonders. Yeah, I mean the competition's got a lot closer, and you love to see it really. Now it really comes down to the drivers. We have Science Hope for Tomorrow, Asaka Hakatori. Thanks for the donation. And yeah, I mean I think this is the thing. Previously, let's say back in 2018, 2019, we used to consider the Spanish Grand Prix a bit of a boring circuit. There wasn't much overtaking. But however, since they removed the chicane and sort of rounded out turn number 10, overtaking has become a lot more common. In fact, the last 3 races that we've had at the Spanish Grand Prix, there has been more than 50 overtakes every single race. So, I would not count out Carlos Sainz. He's really quick. The Williams is quick. It's his home Grand Prix. He's going to do his absolute best to try and make it out. And potentially get up into the points at his home Grand Prix. But yeah, they came over the radio to say, yeah, that's P18. And then Sainz just says, yeah, and not great. And what can you do, really? What can you do? So the time that he lost to his teammate Alex Albon, he lost the majority of that in the high-speed corners through turn number 9, through turn number 14. Just not as much commitment, I guess, as Alex Albon. Or maybe wasn't approaching those corners with the speed that Alex Albon was. But regardless, Sainz is eliminated. And just a sort of an FYI, the lap times that we were expecting from pole position last year are 1:11.3. That is what we saw from last year's time. So we're at 1 minute 12.5. So we've still got about 1.1 seconds, 1.2 seconds left to go in terms of lap time reduction. Of course, track temperatures up at 48 degrees, which is not going to help. We might even have hotter track conditions. And yeah, the conditions are going to be hotter than they were last year, which is probably going to slow the cars down rather than speed them up, but we'll keep an eye out. Quickest through the speed traps, George Russell, 329 k's per hour, so it looks like he might have got a little bit of a tow there from someone to help him out, but regardless, a good lap is a good lap, and he was up in 4th position. Okay, and yeah, they're all the drivers now have... Well, the bottom 5 drivers have been eliminated and will be getting underway for Q2, very, very shortly. I think they've recovered Colapinto's car. Colapinto's car basically stopped working at the exit of the pit lane. That was the issue for Colapinto, and that's why he couldn't take part in the session. Got to bring back Sergio Perez. I mean, maybe. I mean, Sergio Perez towards the end of his stint at Red Bull also wasn't performing amazingly. So I really don't know what Red Bull can do about their problem. They've got a car that only really one driver can drive, and what do you do in that scenario? You just have to somehow just get a second driver that can deal with it. Maybe proving to be very, very tricky. I think the Red Bull second seat should become someone who can defend a lot and support Franz Hermann until it's not Red Bull, it's Franz Hermann Racing. Yeah, I mean, I've made this comment a few times, you know, it's not Red Bull Racing, it's Max Verstappen Racing. But the thing is, you need a driver, if you want to defend, like help Max Verstappen out, you need a driver that's at least there. You know, back in 2021, Sergio Perez was there. He was up there in second and third position. So when he needed to block Hamilton and back him up, he could do exactly that. So Yuki Tsunoda's nowhere near that point, and you know Sergio Perez at the end of his stint also wasn't near that point. So who are we gonna get? You know, signed Valtteri Bottas, but does Bottas really want to be Verstappen's teammate? Who else can you really sign? I don't think sort of Daniel Ricciardo is really in the question. Yeah, it's a tough one, really, isn't it? Yuki had no grip at all. He couldn't turn the car very much, and a lot of understeer and no pace. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. But Red Bull need to do something about that. You know, if they send out one of their drivers in a car that is totally undrivable, that is totally Red Bull's fault, and they need to fix that. Otherwise, the drivers are just gonna start dropping like flies. Nico Hulkenberg, maybe, I don't know. Nico Rosberg, yeah, I think Nico Rosberg could come back. The Monaco-based YouTuber, Nico Rosberg. I think that he would be, he'd be a good fit. Where are the speed traps? The speed traps at the little purple dot there that you can see, just down the main straight. That's where the speed trap is. Okay, we've got Albon, Behrman, and Alonso out on a used set of soft tyres. So what they're doing here is, well, driving around on these used sets to get a feel for the grip levels, and they just do some more qualifying laps. The more quali laps you do, the better chance that you have of going quicker on a lap where it really matters. So they're just getting a little bit of practice in, and Alonso is going to be, well, going full send on this quali lap, albeit with slightly slower tyres. But then, of course, in about 10 minutes' time, he'll put on a fresh set and he'll be raring to go. How did Sainz get out so early? He must have made a mistake, really. That's all I can really say. Must have made a mistake and then ended up out of the running. Oh, Alonso dives back into the pits. I don't know if that's an issue for Alonso. It shouldn't be an issue, but he did an install lap by the looks of it. Just came out of the pits and came right back in again, which is not very typical of quali. So we'll keep an eye out. You know, just check if there's any sort of radio messages. Leave it running like normal. I don't know. Maybe there is some issue for Alonso, but we'll find out soon enough. Albon's on a flying lap regardless, and he's looking pretty good. All right, yeah, he makes his way through turn number 5 very nicely, smoothly onto the power, staying well within track limits as well. A good job there from Alex Albon. And currently, of course, is in P1 because no one else has done a lap. Max Verstappen, however, makes his way out onto the circuit, and that won't last. That P1 from Alex Albon's not going to last particularly long. He's got DRS down the back straight, of course. Makes his way through turn number 10, stays within track limits nicely enough, and then runs towards turn number 13 and 14. Let's see, actually, will Alex Albon be flat on the exit of turn number 14? You're flat through 13, through 14, however. Oh, a little lift from Alex Albon before he turns in, just to help the car rotate. There we go. All right, across the line he came then. 113.1 from Alex Albon. Can you use DRS in quali? Yes, you can. It's a standard procedure. Alpine replaced a dud with another. I mean, okay, Doohan was pretty good. Colapinto had an engine issue, so that's why he got eliminated. He was driving out the pit lane, and then his engine stopped working. So, yeah, I don't really think that's Colapinto's fault. Okay then, so here we go. Also, folks, if you're only the like button, please be sure to do so. It really does help out the channel. Yeah, the YouTube algorithm just loves it, really. So if you guys could help out, that would very much be appreciated. Hope to see you guys coming along to the stream tomorrow for the race. Should be pretty good considering that, well, The qualifying in Q1 was pretty close. The race pace of the Red Bulls and the McLaren should be fairly closely matched. I don't know, maybe the warm conditions will help out the McLarens. Maybe we'll just have a Max Verstappen effect and Verstappen will just destroy the McLarens regardless. Or maybe we'll have a very tightly close fought battle. Who knows? Who knows? Alright, Verstappen purple through the first sector. He's having absolutely none of this. 21.6, sorry. So still only 2/10. He's 2/10 down, really, on the quickest first sector that we saw in Q1, of course. As you can see, that's the little extra piece of information that we have. In between qualifying sessions, we can look at the fastest sector. So Norris there in Q1 did a 21.4. Obviously, on the left-hand side, it shows up as Verstappen going purple through the first sector. But if we compare that to the first sector that we saw from Q1, then Norris was actually going quicker. Through the middle sector, however, Verstappen goes quickest out of anyone, quicker than Antonelli and Bortoleto, in fact, purple in the first sector. Nicely done from Bortoleto. Maybe he got a toe, maybe he didn't. We'll keep an eye out on his speed trap. And yeah, 3:28 through the speed trap. It looks like Bortoleto did get a toe. Or maybe they're just super slippery in a straight line. But either way, Verstappen across the line, a 1:12.358. And that is 7/10 clear of Alex Albon. Alright, next up is Lance Stroll. That's third place for him. Alonso's now starting a lap. We've got Norris purple through the first sector. Still not quicker than his first sector in FP1, but still quicker than Bortoleto, quicker than Verstappen. Bortoleto, a great lap from him, second place, but still, the gap, as you can see, 7/10 of a second, is absolutely huge. Then we've got Leclerc. Oh my god, a couple of purple mini sectors here. He got a toe off Bortoleto by the looks of it. Top speed, 3:26. Yep, toe off Bortoleto for Charles Leclerc. And he heads towards Repsol. Let's see his first sector. Yes, it's quicker than Lando Norris. Norris goes quicker than Verstappen in the middle sector by 3/10. Oh my god, Norris had a really good middle sector. And here he comes now, out of the final corner. No slipstream for him up ahead, but here he comes. What's it going to be for Lando Norris? And he's 3/10 clear of Max Verstappen, and all of the time that he gained was all in the middle sector. 3/10 in the middle sector, and that's what got him 3/10 clear of Max. Piastri goes purple in the first sector. He goes, oh my god, he goes 2/10 quicker than 2/10 quicker than Norris, and his speed through the speed traps 3:29. Russell 3:30. So some really quick speeds here through the speed traps. And we'll see what Piastri can do in the middle sector. Hopefully he hasn't worn out his tyres too much in the first sector. That's how it works. If you wear out your tyres too much in the first sector, then you can't go as quick in the middle sector. But we don't see that big of a slowdown in the middle sector for Piastri. Maybe in the final sector it'll happen. Let's wait and see. Hamilton across the line, third place for him. So Ferrari's in 3-4. They're 4/10 back there from Lando Norris. Here comes Oscar Piastri. Across the line he goes. First position, half a second clear of Lando Norris. So Lando Norris closed that gap up. It was previously a quarter of a second in Q1. Now it's down to half a tenth in Q2. And now we've got Antonelli across the line. That's only 8th position for Antonelli. He must have made a mistake on his lap by the looks of it. And here comes George Russell. What can he do? And it's 4th place for George Russell. So ahead of the Mercs, ahead of the Ferrari, sorry, by half a tenth or a tenth. But still behind Max Verstappen and the McLarens. Okay, 7 minutes and 8 seconds remain on the clock. We have got, we've got everyone has put one lap time on the board. Currently in the elimination zone, we have got Bortoleto, Lawson, Albon, Stroll, and Behrman. Let me know, folks, who do you think will get eliminated out of Q2? Will we have will we have one of these drivers get eliminated that are currently already there? Will we maybe see Gasly drop into the elimination zone? Maybe Antonelli? Who knows? Okay. Hadjar's definitely cooking this season. Yeah, Hadjar's been doing pretty well, to be honest. I think Christian Horner came out and said his performances are being very, very promising and things like that. So it looks good. I don't know why they come over the radio to George Russell. Dark clouds in the distance over turn 13. Oh, okay. Actually, to be fair, the clouds are very dark outside on the exit turn 13. Okay, let me just Google the weather. Barcelona weather. The forecast I checked yesterday was no sign of clouds or rain. Let me double check. Is there any sort of updated forecast? No. Well, really, there's a 10% chance of rain in about 5 hours' time. So, not really much to worry about there. I don't think we're going to be getting any rain. Yeah. It will cool down the track. That is a good point. It will cool down the track. It'll block the sun out for a little bit. Well, if the sun is in that direction, we don't really know which direction the sun's coming from. But if it does block out the sun, it will lower track temperatures. It will decrease lap times. And the first lap that we get, in fact, into the 1 minute 11s from Oscar Piastri, or 1:11.998 from him. Last year's pole time, a 1:11.383. So pretty close to, well, I don't know about pretty close, but 6 tenths off. We'll probably see some more time get lost in the third sector, and we'll get close in Q3, and we should get within maybe 2 tenths, 3 tenths. But of course, if the track conditions were cooler last year and they're warmer this year, the lap times aren't really that comparable. All right. What happened to Carlos Sainz? Carlos Sainz, I must admit, well, it just wasn't that quick, really. Wasn't that quick. Lost quite a bit of time to his teammate in the high-speed corners and ended up knocked out of Q1. Thanks for the donation. Who have we just got donated? Mal again. Oscar Norris, Max, what's new? Yeah, really, there isn't too much new. And look at that gap as well. 3 tenths from Verstappen to Norris. In Q1, of course, Verstappen managed to split the two McLarens. In Q2, looking a little bit more unlikely. But we've got 3 minutes and 40 seconds, 50 seconds left on the clock now. And the drivers are finally making their way out onto the circuit. Why is everyone in the pits? Everyone's in the pits, just refueling the car, really. Refueling the car, putting on a fresh set of tyres, looking through the data, seeing where they can gain more lap time, where they can carry more speed. But that's about it, really. Pretty typical stuff for a Formula One quali session. Okay. Where do you watch F1 TV this weekend? If you want to watch Formula One for only $2 a month, you can use Surfshark VPN. There's a link in the description. You get Surfshark VPN, you join an Austrian VPN server, you search ORF on Google, and you enjoy Formula One coverage, basically. The commentary is in German, so if you're German or if you understand German, fantastic. If not, you can always mute the coverage and listen to mine instead, but you actually get to watch the cars go around the circuit. So yeah, go ahead and check that out if you guys are interested in that one. Yeah. Not much else really. There's a link in the description. It helps out the channel as well. And oh yeah, there are like 300 people that use it already, and it does work. So if you got and if it doesn't work for you for whatever reason, you can always get a refund. But you search ORF onto Google after joining an Austrian VPN server. All right, 2 minutes left on the clock. Then we are getting the qualifying laps underway. Lance Stroll starts his quali lap, and let's see how he does. Okay. Yeah. So the drivers that aren't coming out onto the circuit by the looks of it, Hamilton, Russell, Verstappen, Norris, and Piastri are all confident enough that they're just going to make it through into Q3, that they're just not coming out onto the circuit. Charles Leclerc, however, not so confident, and he's just playing the safe, just being safe, really. And is coming out onto the circuit just in case. Labias Dama Canal, thanks for the donation. Do and put sugar in Color Pinto's Formula One gas tank. Yeah, maybe that's what he did. Who knows? Thanks for the donation, by the way. It very much is appreciated. All right, 24,000 people tune into the coverage. Thanks everyone for coming along. Here we are at the end of Q2. Then Lance Stroll improves across the line. Only 12th place for him, so that's it. Stroll is eliminated out of Q2. Liam Lawson starts his flying lap. He gets a little bit of a tow, in fact, from Lance Stroll. Antonelli improves up into 8th place. Will that be enough, though? The gap is, well, to be fair, the gap from 8th position to 11th position is about 4/10 of a second, so he's got a bit of margin there. Oh, look at this. Fernando Alonso has timed a tow very nicely. He's getting a nice old tow from Pierre Gasly as they blast down the start-finish straight. You know, the wily old fox has his tricks up his sleeve, and he's gaining lap time wherever he can. All right. Bortoleto improves 11th place for him. Gasly doesn't improve on his second lap. So Bortoleto, that's it. He is also eliminated out of Q2. Next up is Alex Albon. He just makes it into 10th place, so very, very close for Albon there. Now we've got Hadjar coming across the line. What's it going to be for him? 6th place for Isaac Hadjar. Great lap. That makes Alex Albon eliminated out of Q2. So now the drivers remaining, Liam Lawson and Oliver Behrman. Here comes Liam Lawson. What's it going to be for him? Across the line he goes, and only 13th place. Lawson is eliminated. Here is Ollie Behrman now, last driver that can make it through into Q3. What is he going to do? He's just got turn number 10 and 11 left to go. The track is really, the clouds are quite large, to be fair. The circuit will start sort of losing its temperature, and that should definitely help out the drivers, especially in the final sector. Here comes Oliver Behrman now. Final corner left to go. Can he hold it flat? By the looks of it, he is going to go flat. He's got nothing to lose. Across the line he goes, and it's only 15th place. Doesn't even gain any position. So that is it, ladies and gents. The end of Q2. The gap between first and 15th place, 1.3 seconds. And the drivers eliminated are Alex Albon, Gabriel Bortoleto, Liam Lawson, Lance Stroll, and Oliver Behrman. Williams continue their record of not making it into Q3 for the or not making it into the top 10 in qualifying for the past 10 years running at the Barcelona circuit. Williams have just not had that great of luck at this circuit, and they just seem to not be able to extract the pace. Alex Albon was very close. In fact, he was 40 milliseconds off making it through into Q3, but you know, some things just aren't meant to go your way. Alonso, however, has had a great lap, makes it through into eighth position, and he's made it through into Q3. Brilliant for his home race. Didn't Williams win here in 2012? Yeah, they did, but that's more than 10 years ago. Yeah. They were dirty. That's what they were doing purposely slow in the third sector. Okay, so that's what Albon's saying. Let's get a replay here. I think Albon is saying that the Hasses were sort of driving slowly in the third sector, sort of give him some dirty air and to sort of, I don't know, give him dirty air, slow him down a little bit. Interesting. I don't think they're really going to get a penalty for that because they were definitely off the racing line. It wasn't sort of blocking Albon whatsoever. It's just a little bit of dirty air would have made the slightest of difference. You know, the margins are so small. 40 milliseconds is tiny. The smallest difference here, smallest difference there can make it up. So maybe the Hasses did do it, but there's no sort of issue there because neither of the Hasses even made it through. Like, it was Behrman in 15th position and he didn't benefit from that. Will the magician Marco perform his swapping trick again? I mean, it seems unlikely. Surely they've got to give Yuki Tsunoda some more time in the car as well. I don't know. I mean, putting Hadjar in as well. This is the thing. You can't put Isaac Hadjar in because it's his first season in Formula One. We saw what happened to Alex Albon when you put him into alongside Max Verstappen. We saw what happened to Pierre Gasly. They were all touted to be the next big thing. They had all done fantastically in their junior careers, and they make their way to Formula One. They perform quite well, and then suddenly you put them against Max Verstappen, career over, and then you have to spend a lot of time rebuilding. Alex Albon had a lot of time to rebuild his career. The same thing for Pierre Gasly after their time at Red Bull. And do they never learn? Are they going to do the same thing? Put Hadjar in? Like, it makes no sense. But then also, can you keep having Yuki Tsunoda perform not as expected? I mean, 20th position when Max is up in third. That is obscene, really. Okay. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We've got 24,000 people tuned into the live stream. Very much do appreciate it. If you haven't hit the like button, folks, be sure to do so. If you haven't subscribed as well, that would very much be appreciated. Hopefully we can hit 167k subs today. That will put us on track to hit 200k by the halfway point of the season. So that'd be fantastic. If we could hit 200k before Spa, would be very awesome indeed. All right, the graphics will update very, very soon for the bottom 5 drivers getting eliminated. Then we'll of course just have the top 10 shootout. The soft tires are the C6s for the softs. It's not the C5s. It is the C6s. The soft. Oh no, sorry, no. The soft tires are the C3s. They're the hardest tires of Pirelli's range. So we've got C1 for the hard tire, C2 for the medium tire, and C3 for the soft tire. Yeah, I don't know why I said C5 or C6. That's what we had in Monaco. Okay, when is Q3? Q3 is in. It should be in. Let me see, 3 minutes time, or actually not even 3, 2 minutes time. That's when Q3 is getting underway. So yeah, go ahead and yeah, I guess we're just waiting really. In fact, I'll take you through another lap of the circuit. Why not? All right, here we go then. So out of the final corner you come, and onto the start-finish straight. Yeah, just want to get a nice good exit. Maybe get a toe here, as we've seen a lot of drivers do. It does help you out. You know, top speed that we see there from George Russell, 330 k's. That's not purely under the Mercedes power unit. That's also down to a bit of a slipstream. Through turn number 3 here, you just want to hug the inside line, minimize the distance as much as you can. But also, there's the other counter argument of sort of minimizing the steering angle, which means that you can actually drive at higher speed. I think most drivers are in fact taking the wider line. In the game, it's probably better to take the inside line, but in real life, it's probably better to take the outside line. Then you go down the hill towards the Worth corner, where it's sort of it's a left-hander and then a right-hander, but the right-hander isn't all that significant, so you can just sort of straight line it and then turn right the last moment. Turn number 9 here, camps are very easy to lose the rear, but hopefully as you keep it under control, as you go towards turn number 10, you've got DRS down this straight, braking at the 100-meter mark for turn number 10, where you, where it's a very, very long corner. Just stay within track limits, that's the main thing. The driver's trying to keep their minimum speeds up as much as possible. They don't care so much about hitting the apex, they care a lot more about keeping the minimum speeds up and gaining lap time that way. And across the line you come, really flat through the final corner. Hopefully, we'll see a couple of drivers. In fact, I'm sure Verstappen's at least going to try it today to go flat through the final corner, because you just have to, really. That's how you can gain a bunch of lap time. You can gain 7k's down the rest of the straight if you go flat. If you don't go flat, then of course you lose 7k's. So it's up to the drivers. If you don't do something big for 200k, you're better for 250. I'm sure it's a rule somewhere. Yeah, I think I might release the merch. I think I might release the merch that I've been designing when I hit 200k. So it also gives me a bit of a deadline to start, making some more designs quicker. So if you guys would like to subscribe, then very much would be appreciated. I will also do my best to make the merch as quickly as possible. Has anyone ever told you sound like Alex Albon? Interesting. I mean, I don't know. Do I sound like Alex Albon, folks? Let me know. Q3 starts any second. Indeed it does. Yeah, there we go. In fact, the timer should start ticking down. Yeah, there we go. Pit lane exit open, and the timer for 12 minutes is ticking down to 0 seconds. Yeah, I don't know if I sound like Alex Albon, but I guess we'll see. You've never seen me and Alex Albon in the same room. And Alex Albon is also eliminated out of Q3, so maybe it could be Alex Albon driving. Maybe Alex Albon's just got a really good mic inside of his helmet. You don't know. You don't know. Here we go then. Oscar Piastri, first driver out onto the circuit. I think Max Verstappen will be following suit very quickly. And what tyres is it for Piastri? A fresh set of soft tyres for him. So they've got a fresh set prepared. They're expecting this to happen. They're expecting to make it through into Q3. Antonelli, however, we'll see what tyres he comes out on. Same thing for George. F1 Gamer, how will qualifying work once there are 22 cars on the grid? I think what's going to happen is that in Q1, rather than having 5 drivers eliminated, we'll have 6 drivers eliminated, and then in Q2 we'll also have the same thing, 6 drivers get eliminated, and then Q3 will still be a top 10 shootout. I think that's what they'll do, because I think the whole sort of premise of this Q1, Q2, Q3 thing is that the final Q3 session is 10 drivers, like a top 10 shootout. The blue lines on the right, they represent the drivers coming in or out of the pit lane. That's what they represent. And I'll quickly just run through all of the sort of the little extra details that I've added onto the track map. So this green line here and this green line here, that's a DRS zone. The green line here and the green dot here and the green dot here, that's the DRS detection point. So the drivers, if they're within 1 second of the driver ahead of them during the race, then they'll get DRS. These red lines here, those are the start and the end of sectors. So that's the end of sector 1 and then end of sector 2 and start of sector 3, of course. And then this purple dot here, this is the speed trap. This is where all the slipstream and the DRS and everything's being measured to see who's getting a turn, who's not. All right, so yeah, that's just a little bit of the extra information that I've added up onto the screen. Okay, that is it then. What is the website called to watch the Formula One, to watch the Grand Prix? It is ORF, and I'd appreciate it if you didn't spam. Right. Here we go then. Oscar Piastri on a flying lap. What can he do? 21.4 in the first sector, so he is not at his personal best through the first sector, but still slightly. He's what, half a tenth back? Not too bad. Not too bad for the first try. And here comes Max Verstappen. Is he starting flying lap? Yes, he is. And really good exit that he got. 326 Ks down the start-finish straight there for Max Verstappen. Gasly comes across the line to start a flying lap as well. And Piastri is starting his flying lap. Well, he's continuing on with his flying lap as Norris is hopefully getting out of the way for him through the final sector they go. Here comes Oscar Piastri. Yeah, Norris gets out of the way nicely. Not too much of an issue there. And now just the final corner left for Piastri. Is he going to hold it flat? They're not showing us the onboard, really. That's the problem. But here he comes out of the final corner. It's a 1:11.836. Great lap by Piastri. He goes a tenth quicker than his previous lap. Previous lap was a 1:11.998. It's now down to a 1:11.836. So that's helping out. Track temperature is also lower, folks. 44 degrees track temperature. It was up at 48, 49 before. The clouds are out now here in Barcelona, so that means that the track temperature is going to start falling. George Russell at 12.075. Great lap from Mr. George Russell there, and or Mr. Saturday, as you want to call him, and he is 8 tenths ahead of Kimi Antonelli. Huge performance there from George Russell. Only 2 tenths back from Piastri. Might even be quicker than Lando Norris, depending on how his lap goes. Verstappen, unfortunately, third place for him. Yeah, it's not even a used set of tyres. It's a fresh set of tyres for Max, but he's still half a second back. The Merc upgrades are looking really good here, folks. Really good. They've brought the biggest upgrade package out of any sort of upgrade that they've brought this season. Biggest upgrade package of this weekend as well. No other team has brought an upgrade package bigger than them, and things are on the up for them. At least for George Russell. Antonelli's still got a lot of improvement left to go, but Norris goes purple in the first sector, green in the middle sector, and across the line, 17 milliseconds ahead of Oscar Piastri. Oh my goodness me, great lap there from Lando, and he just pips ahead of Oscar Piastri. Great lap. And this is it, folks. The final top 10 shootout. We got Charles Leclerc on a quick lap. We'll see what he can do and where he can put that Scuderia Ferrari car. But he is, yeah, got a lot of stuff riding on him, Charles Leclerc. That middle sector looks all right. Not too bad there for Charles. And now his aim is now just to hook up the final couple of corners, come across the line. Hopefully, probably in third position. We'll have to wait and see. I think third position's a bit optimistic for Charles. Oh, this Russell's coming over the radio saying it's too conservative. I don't know exactly what he's talking about. For fourth place for Charles Leclerc. He's only 3/10 back, actually, so nicely done. And Red Bull aren't doing so well. In Monaco, he just didn't have the pace. He couldn't drive over all of the curbs, and the slow speed corners were really hurting Red Bull. And now Max is half a second back from the McLarens. And the big pain point is that he's got Russell and Leclerc between him. Like, even if he was half a second back from the McLarens and he was in third place, that would be fine. He wouldn't lose too many points. But if the race ends like this tomorrow, which it's highly unlikely it will, but if it does, then that means that Russell and Leclerc will be taking points away from Max Verstappen, and Verstappen will be getting further and further away from a championship fight. Okay, and they say watch out for Lando opening behind to Oscar Piastri, but that's it. So Fernando Alonso is doing his. Oh, it looks like Alonso's only doing one run here. He's going to have one run in clean air. Is Alonso? So in fact, let's go with an onboard. Hopefully, I can sync this up nicely. Okay. There we go, just out the final corner. Maybe that's synced up, probably a little bit behind. But anyway, this is basically what Alonso is going to be seeing. So he's barreling his way down the start-finish straight. No one ahead of him for a tow. Totally clean circuit. Leclerc's making his way into the pit lane. Now heading towards turn number 1, braking at the 70-meter mark as late as physically possible. As much speed as he can carry through turn number 1 and 2. Flat through 2. Now flat also through turn number 3. Like just foot flat to the floor, now minimizing the distance that he travels, braking under the bridge for this corner, hits this apex very, very nicely, stays away from the grass on the exit. It's very easy to run out wide there. There's no runoff, just a painted white line and grass immediately afterwards. Then a good exit now down the hill as he goes towards the Worth corner. It's green through the first sector for Fernando Alonso, a 21.6 through the first sector. Very, very racy indeed. But will it be enough for, 4th or 5th position? Now heading towards Campsa. It's nice and quick there. No twitches for Fernando Alonso, just like I had. And now now the final sector remaining for him. He's hits this apex very nicely, stays well within track limits there, pushing the car as far as it will go. And then he's got the final 2 corners left to go. Is he going to hold it flat? What's he going to do? Oh, they're not showing us the telemetry. We don't know if Alonso's holding it flat. By the looks of it, his throttle, he did not lose any speed whatsoever. Alonso looks like he went flat through the final corner. 5th place for Alonso, great lap. And he goes ahead of Max Verstappen as well. So the Astons have improved more than the Red Bulls have. Fantastic from Alonso. All right. Yeah. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Flat through the final corner. He lost like 2 kilometers per hour. Like, they had the speedo up, they didn't have the telemetry up, but Alonso only lost like 2-3 Ks through turn number 14, so it seemed like he was foot flat to the floor. Very good lap, and maybe he starts the Spanish Grand Prix up in 5th place. Hopefully Alonso scores some points. For the love of God, he has not scored any points this season, and he's had a whole bunch of bad luck, and things haven't been going that so great, but at his home Grand Prix, it'll be fantastic to see if things can turn around. Okay. Just looking at the gap between teammates here, the only two we have, the gap between Russell and Antonelli is about 0.8 of a second. Gap between Leclerc and Hamilton, 0.3 of a second. And gap between Norris and Piastri, 17 milliseconds. Super duper close for the top 2. All right, if we look at previous pole positions here, Lando Norris got pole in 2024, Verstappen in 2023, 2022 was Charles Leclerc, 2021 and 2020 was Lewis Hamilton. So a good mix. 4 different drivers in the past 5 years have got pole position here, and they're all on the grid racing this weekend. So we shall see who comes out on top. Will it be a new driver? Will it be Piastri instead of Norris? It looks like Norris is going out first. Piastri is going out second. So slightly better track conditions. Very, very marginally better for Piastri, but it's not going to make too much of a difference. So the main thing is, will he be able to get a tow sorted out? Will Norris get a tow sorted out? Will Piastri get a tow sorted out? Will any of the drivers get a tow sorted out? But here we are, ladies and gents. This is what we have been waiting for. The final 2 minutes of Q3 here in Barcelona. We are going to have all of the drivers out on the circuit very, very soon, apart from Fernando Alonso, who's already done his lap. Isaac Hadjar starts his flying lap first out of the pits. Here he comes towards turn number 1. We'll see what his lap's shaping up to be, but he's looking like he's improving at such a rate. I might have to take the sort of Rookie of the Year award that's heading towards Kimi Antonelli and redirect it towards Isaac Hadjar. He's been fantastic in the past couple of races, and his progress is not slowing down. He is getting better and better, and Let's see what he can do today. All right, Lando Norris starts his flying lap. Track temperature down to 41, 42 degrees. McLaren seem to do fantastically in hot conditions. Track temperature goes down. The advantage swings towards towards Mercedes, Ferrari, Aston Martin, Red Bull. So let's wait and see. Through the first sector they go. What can Lando Norris do through the first sector? Does he improve? Yes, he does. Purple, 21.2. That is incredible for the first sector. But what can Oscar Piastri do? It looks like he's setting even more purple mini sectors than Lando Norris is. Here he comes. It's purple for Piastri. 11 milliseconds quicker just in the first sector for Piastri. This is extremely close. All right, here comes Norris now through Campser. Can he hold it flat? Of course he can. And no twitch like he had in free practice 3. All right, what's the middle sector looking like for Lando Norris? It's yellow, it's yellow. Norris loses a little bit of time in the middle sector. What can Piastri do? This is for the fight for pole position. Gasly across the line, 5th place for him. Look at this, Russell's getting a toe off Gasly. Keep your eyes peeled. Russell might be on for a good lap here, but Lando Norris, this is it for pole position. Piastri's purple in the middle sector. Can Norris save it in the final sector? Yes, he can. He improves by a small margin, half a tenth improvement for him. But can he stop Oscar Piastri? He's just got to hook the final corner up, has it? And across the line comes Oscar Piastri. What's it going to be? Provisional pole position by 0.2 of a second. What a lap from the man from down under. Incredible. 0.2 clear. Antonelli across the line. He improves significantly up into 4th position. The Mercs are back. Here comes George Russell. He's on a used set of tyres. Mercedes didn't have enough sets of tyres for qualifying today. Antonelli does his lap on a used set. So's George Russell. Let's see what they can do. They're still improving though. Russell is pushing this car to the limit. Hamilton across the line, 3rd place. Hamilton just remembered that he was goated and he came across the line. 3rd position for Hamilton. He's back. Verstappen purple in the final sector. 3rd position for him. He takes that away from Hamilton, but he's still 0.3 back from the McLarens. Here comes George Russell. What can he do? 5th position as of right now. Across the line he goes. Only 4th place. Exact same lap time as Max Verstappen. Oh my goodness me. That is the end of qualifying. Max Verstappen and George Russell, the exact same lap time. Oscar Piastri on pole position. It's a McLaren 1-2. Max Verstappen in 3rd position, Russell in 4th with the exact same lap time. Hamilton in 5th, finally out-qualifies Charles Leclerc, who was in the pit lane. And then we have Antonelli in 6th position, Leclerc in 7th. Gasly in 8th, Hadjar in 9th, and unfortunately Alonso, even though he had a great lap in the middle of Q3, he ends up in 10th place. Oh my goodness me. What a qualifying session. Ooh, incredible, really. Yeah, a little bit too late for Russell. If he had set that lap slightly earlier, then he would have got 3rd place. But unfortunately, that's not the way things turned out. And Max Verstappen got that 3rd place, a 1:11.848. The competition could not be any closer. All right. I mean, the McLarens do have an advantage. I am going to be very, very clear with that. But the Mercs and the Red Bulls aren't too far behind. So slipstreaming down into turn number 1. We've seen it before. 4 wide into turn 1. We can definitely see it again. And Max Verstappen's not backing out of this one. He knows that he has to win a couple of races to do damage limitation. But now the man in the spotlight, Oscar Piastri, gets out of the car. Another pole position for him. Absolutely fantastic. And he's just waving to the fans. It looks like Piastri doesn't even care. He's just got out of the car, waving about. He's not celebrating, nothing. So cool, calm and collected for Piastri. Brilliant. Okay. All right then, ladies and gents, thanks everyone for tuning in. Very much do appreciate it. I'm not going to do a sort of qualifying debrief because I realised that anything that I say in a qualifying debrief is exactly what I'm going to say for the build-up of the race tomorrow. So I think you guys should just tune into the start of the stream tomorrow, and that would be ideal. But I will do a post-race debrief. Yeah, so thank you everyone for tuning in. If you could hit the like button and the reminder button on tomorrow's stream, that really does help out the channel and the algorithm. And hopefully we can make our way towards 200k. If you haven't subscribed, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do that. It really does help out the channel. And I will see you in, I think, 20 hours for the Spanish Grand Prix. It's going to be a fantastic race. yeah, so I shall see you in 20 hours or so. It's been a pleasure commentating you guys. Have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you are in the world. And yeah, I shall see you tomorrow. It's going to be a fantastic race, and I hope to see you all there. Yeah, past 3 races here in Spain, we've had more than 50 overtakes. So, we're going to have a lot of overtaking tomorrow. So the race stream will be up on the channel. But yeah, if you could hit the like button and the reminder button, that would be fantastic. The reason why the channel has grown so much in the past year or so is because of the people that hit the like button and the reminder button in advance. Like, the YouTube algorithm loves it, and I can't stress that enough, really. But that's all from me. So I will see you all tomorrow for the race. Bye bye, ladies and gents.